Good morning, Pastor Brian Wolfmuller here. I got a bunch of questions from, from all over the place asking, hey, how do we do videos? How do we do service videos? How do we do this kind of communication videos? So this is my tips for pastors, how to be a pastor at a distance and how to produce all this stuff. So I got 6 things for you here. Number one, the first question that I want you guys to consider is, what are you actually doing? The media and the message, these things actually matter. It's been a long time conviction of mine that if you just take something that's intended for one place and record it and put it on another place, there's a lot that's lost. So for example, if you just record your Sunday morning service and put it on YouTube, that's not, the people who wish they were there but couldn't be there, that might be good for them. But to think, now what am I actually doing here? You consider that when you're making a video, you're actually making a video. That you're not just recording a service, you're making a video. So that changes the way you think. It changes the way you consider things. It changes the way you pace things. It changes the way that you do all sorts of things. Now, there's a bunch of different options here for what you're actually doing. Sometimes, I got my notes. Sometimes you're trying to live stream. Sometimes you're trying to record a service. I think for us, we did one live stream and we switched to recorded services for a number of reasons. But number one, you can control where the cameras are, so you can stop and move. If you just have one camera, stop, move. And that way we can get the camera up in the choir loft to capture the organ and the people singing, a couple people singing there. And then you can move it down by the pulpit and the lectern and the front of the church to capture the audio from the thing. So you have that flexibility when you're pre-recording a service. So that's the way we went, and I think probably for most people it's the easiest. But remember, there's a great danger if you are pre-recording your service that you'd make a mistake, you're like, stop, cut, start over, cut, and then you're like, take 42. So you just can't do that. So even if you're pre-recording a service, you gotta have a live kind of attitude. And if you make a mistake, you're plugging on and you're doing it. That's there. Okay. Now, point number 2, the most important thing for video, this is maybe ironic, but the most important thing is the sound. If you sound, look, if I'm standing back here and I'm just talking and you're picking up the kind of ambient room noise, it is incredibly hard to watch that kind of video. So as you're thinking, hey, all right, I got to do some video stuff, the most important question you ask is, how can I make the sound better? And the closer your mouth is to the microphone, either on your phone or camera or whatever you're using, the better. Now, my recommendation is a lav mic. It's just the easiest. This is the Rode lav mic. I did a review maybe a year ago on a Pop lav mic. It's a $9 microphone with a 15-foot cord on it. And 15 feet will give you enough room to back up from the pulpit or whatever. And I've got an extension for this lav mic as well that's another 15 feet. So I can go 30 feet away from the camera, and yet I'm only 6 inches away from the microphone. And that's very important. And you can do that for pretty cheap. So that's the number one thing. You can also do I think this Rode mic is a $100 microphone or $80 microphone or whatever, and you can tell the difference. But look, you got $9, spend $9, get the lav mic, and that will be incredibly helpful. Be careful with your connections. This is a thing that I wish someone would have told me. If you're recording on the cell phone, it has this little thing. Look, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's because it has stereo output as well as a microphone in. If you're working with a normal audio thing, if stereo is gonna have 3 like this, and a mono is gonna just have 2 little sections, one line there. So if you're recording, you just make sure that you get the microphone that is designed for the phone, and it's gonna look like that. You should be able to see it. And a lot of times they'll come with an adapter. Anyway, so that's important. And the other thing is important is if you are recording a sermon from the pulpit, but you have a lav mic on, remember that you don't have to yell to anybody out there. In fact, that's one of the main things, is to remember that and this is how to think of it. Let me just go to the next one, which is image. But when you're recording, you got to think so I can look around at the whole world here, but you got to remember that the whole world is behind this camera right there. So I'm looking out the window of this tiny little camera lens to see the whole world. So normally I'm looking out the lenses of my eyes to see the whole world like this. And so when I'm preaching or when I'm talking, I'm going to be looking around like this. But when I'm making a video, I'm looking right there. And there's a danger if you're doing a front, like right now I'm doing front facing camera so I can make sure I'm in the picture and everything. And my eyes are going to want to wander from the camera here to the screen here. You see the difference there? And I'm going to look at myself there. So I'm looking there and it looks like I'm looking past you. So I used to, in the beginning recording, I would put a sticky note and put an arrow that pointed straight to the camera lens so I could keep my eye on the camera lens. There's a tendency, if we're preaching, that we're looking around at people, we're trying to scan the whole congregation, looking up and down. And I find myself, even now when we're recording services, I'm looking around like there's someone there, but there's nobody there. It's just habit. Where is everybody? Everybody is on the other side of the camera. So eyes on the lens. The other thing is you want to, if you can, light the face as much as possible. You want to have your eyes above mid-ground. So you want to go high in the image. If I'm down like this and I'm recording like this, that's very awkward for people to watch. It's just, so even if you're recording, you want to keep your eyes above the midline, your mouth middle, nose middle, and as the further back you go, you're going to try to capture that same kind of, I'm tethered, that same sort of aspect ratio and look at the camera. 4, how do you edit your videos? I've been trying to goof around with other stuff now. In fact, I've been working with Adobe Premiere because we're trying to set up with different cameras and stuff. But I think the easiest way to go, especially if you're recording on your phone, which you can do, I mean, the phones are fine, especially if you could get the audio better, that the easiest app to use that does basically everything that you want to do, including cutting, splicing, transitions, video in video, putting words on the screen, is KineMaster. It's kind of funny. You can watch YouTube videos on how to use this thing, but it's all barely intelligible from guys from India, because I think that's what all the Indian YouTubers edit on their phone with KineMaster. But I think it costs like $4 a month as an app, subscription app, but it's worth it. That takes the watermark off, and it's a powerful tool for the phone. So I might, if I can figure out how to do it, I might edit a little video and show you guys what that looks like, so you can see a little bit how it works. All right, guys, so here's KineMaster. I think that's how it's pronounced. And I just want to show you how the thing works. So here's your home screen. If you click the new video, your 16:19 aspect ratio is what you're after for a new video. And then you come over here, click on the media, and you can grab your thing. So here's the video I just recorded that's there. And so now the video is there. You can see it. If you want to put, you can kind of squeeze in, and that gives you the whole thing like this. If you want to cut something, like say I'm playing at the beginning and I'm like, I don't like that. Well, then you come along and you can either trim it, make it shorter this way by dragging, or you can put it over here like this, and you can split it. You can grab this and delete it, or you can just click here and trim it to wherever you want to trim it, and so forth like this. I'm going to put an overlay over the front of it, and you can do this with any sort of pictures or whatever. So I have exported here on one of my videos a little slider. Says, hey, this is who I am, Pastor Brian Wolfmueller. And I move that over there, and then watch this. I can just hit the chroma key, enable that thing. It takes the screen out. This is, I mean, in other words, this lets you do a lot of flexible things. If I want to move that over, let me move it towards the beginning. Something like that. At the end, let's say I want to put in some music for the end, so I'm going to come along and put a black screen that's there, and trim this up at the very end. So I see when I stop talking, boop, and then click, trim that thing. And then here's my last bit. So I'll come over here, I'll add some text to it. You just type that in. And then put it where you want it. Select the font type that you like. Boop. It's not quite big enough, so I'm going to open that up and I'm going to scroll to the end, and then I'll trim it off at the end, even though it'll do that automatically. And then let's add some music here. So I got this motivation song that I like. Put that in there. I'm going to drag it over. And then now look, there's so many things that you can do here, but with this I can add an audio envelope. So I set my points and I can fade it in there and I can fade it out at the end. I mean, look, there's so many things that you can do. You don't need to do all this. And when you're done, you say here, I'm going to click it and say export, and boom, it'll export the video. And then once that thing is done, then I'll just upload it to our YouTube channel and it'll be all done. So that's a basic overview about what you can do with KineMaster. Now, the fifth thing to consider is your platform. Where are you going to put your videos? My suggestion is that if you could put it on your website, that's going to be really nice. In fact, if you can just have on your website a page where you can send people. So we have stpaulaustin.org/live, L-I-V-E. And so all of our new services are on there, announcements for the new services, bulletins to download, and then down below that, past videos for people to watch. So it's all in one spot. And so you can point people to that. In fact, I think we're going to switch from a recorded service to sort of like a live Zoom devotional service for Wednesday nights after Holy Week. And so we'll be able to put those announcements and put the links up there and everything else like this. So it's really nice to have one place to point everyone to on the website. Then the other question is YouTube or Facebook. And I don't know how to weigh in on this debate. I'm just so much more familiar with YouTube that's been my go-to. Apparently it's easier, especially to live stream on Facebook. If you want to live stream from mobile on YouTube, you got to have 1,000 subscribers. There's other limitations. And Facebook, it seems like if you put a video on Facebook, it gets more interaction and it gets more views. YouTube seems to have a longer tail, more longevity, and it's there so people can find it and stuff like this. But I don't know how to answer that question, where you want to do this stuff. But I would encourage you to have it all embedded on your website, and that's there for you as well. And I would also, and this is my last point, I would also encourage you to think about different platforms for different things that you've got going. And there's like a continuum here on the stuff that we're doing. So you have services, which are sort of for everyone. You want people to be involved, but you can pre-produce that stuff. You have Bible study, which is nicer to have a little more interaction. Meetings, you got to have a lot of interaction. Your visits now are remote, but you want to kind of ramp up for that. So our plan is we have services on YouTube. We're pre-recording them and then we're premiering them so we can all watch them together and interact with them in that way. Bible class, we've been using Zoom. Google Hangouts would be another option. There's other options that are there. Meetings, also Zoom. Visits, phone call. There's an app called Marco Polo, which is really cool. It's a video chat app, and I would recommend checking that out if that's a thing that that appeals to you. We're going to switch, I think I mentioned this, we're going to switch on Wednesday after Holy Week, our Wednesday service, from pre-recorded to Zoom. And I'll be home, and our music man, Jonathan, will be in his home, and we'll just switch to his house for the hymns and switch back to me for the devotion and then back to for the hymns. And then we'll have a Bible class after that. So as we're trying to increase the sort of the community interaction, we're moving to that platform. And as we're trying to present a nice service, we're doing the videos. So I hope that's helpful for everyone. Don't be afraid. You can do, I've been 2 years on YouTube, and the only equipment that I have is my phone and this lav mic and some tripods. I mean, I get all the kind of fancy equipment and I hardly ever use it because this setup is so easy. So don't be afraid to do it. And if you have any other questions or comments, please drop those down below. I hope this is helpful. May God grant us all wisdom and courage as we face the uncertainties of these days. God's peace be with you.